Well, today's episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone is going to be a little different. As you know, I like to cover certain shows that we've seen throughout the week, but I do that on a Friday or on a Saturday. Today is going to be a little different. There was no MLW this week, but however, I was wrong about Road to Castle Attack. They just had their last show on the 25th of February, so I will review that. All of that will be discussed, reviewed, and talked about on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everybody, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling from AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, matches, wrestlers, and championships. I am your host, Jay right here. So let's start it out with Ring of Honor. So this past Ring of Honor episode was so intense with great storylines and great things are going to take place in this one. So let's start out with the first match of the night. This was a number one contendership for the ROH World Tag Team titles between the Briscoes, who have been on odds with each other for a while now, and now there seems like they're getting back on the same page to recapture the titles. But first, they have to face against La Facción Ingobernable between Kenny King and Dragon Lee along with Amy Rose. Now, keep in mind, this is a number one contendership. Now, the La Facción Ingobernable has been one of the factions that are not playing by the rules, but however, they want to make a name for themselves. They already have the ROH World title and, of course, the television title. So, adding extra gold might not be a problem. But however, the match was so good, but exactly it did not turn well for the Briscoes because the most shocking development came when Flip Gordon attacked them. Jay Briscoe had everything in hand, but Flip Gordon just kicked him in the head doing a springboard a kick, and he just took off. It's still unclear what is going on. We do know, if you guys recall, previously La Facción Ingobernable consisted of La Bestia, The Ring, and of course Rush and Dragon Lee. They did not want nothing to do with them. I don't know what's going on. Is this Flip Gordon's way of lashing out at the ROH roster, or is there been talk that the La Facción Ingobernable want him in their team? I don't know. But however, it did allow for Lee and King to win their match, becoming the number one contenders for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. But however, this is not going to be a typical match. This is a pure wrestling rules match. Now, keep in mind, since these guys don't like to play by the rules, they could actually lose the match. That is something that the Foundation, both Lethal and Gresham, are counting. But however, that's not the most important part. We just saw the return of EC3. He still has some unfinished business with Jay Briscoe. Now he comes out talking about this thing that I started to agree with him. In the story-wise, is kind of interesting, where he's saying, what is honor? What exactly is honor? It is now becoming corrupt because, keep in mind, nobody's playing by honor. You got Vincent, who's not honoring his word. He likes to do whatever he wants, however he wants. Then you got La Facción Ingobernable, who don't basically care about the rules. So that's what's been happening. But what does this mean? I don't know, but we'll keep an eye on that in the upcoming weeks. The next match we have Bateman along with Vita what's her name? Von Starr facing off Mike Bennett. Keep in mind, Bateman, part of the Righteous, and Bennett of the OGK have been in feud with each other ever since Vincent turned on Taven. The match was so intense, it's so great, but however, you had to keep in mind Vita Von Star was there to help Vincent, but it didn't go exactly her way. It did allow for Bennett to win the match, but however, it did not end there. Basically, they were planning to get a little revenge against Vincent. They brought out the woodblock, the same woodblock that Vincent used on both Taven and Bennett. Now, Taven threatened Vincent to give him the match that he wants to end this feud, but it appears Vincent wasn't going to oblige. So basically, it's going to be a forever. Vincent has this idea where people say yes to Taven, but this time he's going, no, I'm not doing it. But because of that, they actually used the woodblock on Bateman. This is a side of Taven and Bennett we never seen. But the real question is, how far is Vincent gonna take this feud? He has a problem with Bennett, claiming that he's been gone for 5 years and now he's back, and that Taven has been getting all the yeses in the company. We don't know when that's gonna happen. So we'll see what's the deal. So now that Bateman's out for a while, we'll just see where this is gonna split. And I hope Ring of Honor just come to their senses, just give him the match before things get escalated. Now, the main event, this is for the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team titles. Now, this match was supposed to have been taken back in December, but however, because of the restrictions of the coronavirus, they actually had to postpone it. Now, they were offering Shane Taylor Promotions the titles, like handing them over on a silver platter, but Shane Taylor said no. He wasn't going to accept something like that. He wants to do this the right way. And now it has. So it's Shane Taylor Promotions, consistent of Shane Taylor and SOS Khan and Moses, taking on the Mexi Squad, Flamita, Rey Horus, and Bandito. And it was a good match. But to me, it feels like they're giving a much bigger push to Shane Taylor for two reasons. One, Shane Taylor is the number one contender for the ROH title. We don't know what's going to happen. That match is coming up soon, and I'm excited. And the match was great, but I kind of suspected that Mexican Squad will drop their titles. And they did. So it became Shane Taylor Promotions, the new ROH 6-man tag team champions. I'm excited. So if Shane Taylor wins his world title match, he becomes double champion. But we'll see what that happens in the upcoming weeks. So let's move forward with WWE's NXT UK and 205 Live. Alright, so we got WWE's NXT UK and 205 Live. Now, the first match that took place on NXT UK, this is winners will have their assistant for a month. So basically, this is a feud between Xia Brookside and Nina Samuels. Now, this took place a while ago, about months ago, where Nina Samuels lost a match to Xia Brookside. She felt that Brookside was beneath her, that all the Brooksides are mostly good for is carrying bags, and Xia took that into offense. But however, when Brookside lost against Nina Samuels weeks ago, she demanded a rematch, but however, Nina Samuels decided to add a stipulation that if either one lose, they have to carry their bags for a month. So this is one of those matches like, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. So it's Xia Brookside versus Nina Samuels. The match seems like it was going either way between Nina and Xia, but however, Nina took it a little too far when she got involved with the assistant who was carrying her bags and basically dropped the ball when she focused on the carry-on bag to whack Brookside, but however, the roles were reversed. It was Brookside who won. and she had to carry her back. But later it did show how Xia Brookside felt great winning, but not so well for Nina Samuels. Probably someone would have said, probably some fan would have said, "What were you thinking, Nina?" Well, clearly she wasn't thinking, but well, that's what she gets. Now we get the return of Tyler Bate, who is on a match with the debut of Bailey Matthews. Now, if you guys don't know who Bailey Matthews is, he is the son of NXT General Manager William Regal. Now, the last time I heard from Bailey Matthews, he was in Japan as a young boy, or should I say young lion, training in New Japan. But I'm assuming because of the conditions that took place in Japan during the coronavirus, I'm assuming he might have moved back to the UK where he can be okay and safe. Uh, but it's been announced that he got signed by WWE and he made his official NXT UK debut. Now, I don't have to tell you guys much. He seems like a good wrestler, but it looks more like he still has a lot to learn. I mean, Tyler Bateman, you know who he is. His reputation speaks for itself. But it was a good match, and Bate actually won his match on this one. Now, however, this next segment took place. It's still unclear what is the intentions between both Joseph Connors and Jenny. Now, we do know Jenny feels that Piper Nivens is sick and tired of Nivens getting opportunities for the NXT Women's title. So Joseph confronted her, and all of a sudden, Piper Nivens slapped him in the face, and Jenny came from behind, and Sid Scalia had enough of this whole mess. So Piper Nivens demanded a match between both, but Scalia said no, it wouldn't be right. So by chance, she just picked her partner, and that partner was Jake Stars. So I was like, okay. But that match will take place in 2 weeks. Now, the next match we have is Ifa Valkyrie versus Lana Austin. Now, I don't know who Lana Austin is, but Ifa Valkyrie is amazing. I always love her character. And of course, she always wins her matches. So it was a good match. It was not one of the best ones that I would have liked to seen, but it is what it is. Now we get to the main event, which is the NXT UK tag team titles between challengers Pretty Deadly. What's his name? What's their name again? Lewis Hodwell and Sam Stoker. Now, the Pretty Deadly has been trying to make a name for themselves for months, and they have been targeting Gallus to get an opportunity of the tag team titles. They are claiming that Gallus is afraid of them. Gallus is not afraid of them. The problem is they try to make a name for themselves. The match was very intense. Like you can see like how much Pretty Deadly are determined to prove that this is no longer Gallus' kingdom. And Joe Coffey wasn't there to back them up in case of anything. But somehow Pretty Deadly outsmarted Gallus by using the tag belts without the ref's knowledge, and they won the tag team titles in that way. Now, don't get me wrong, Gallus will get their revenge, and they do have a rematch clause. They could cash in. So we'll see when that happens. Now we go to 205 Live. The first match is a tag team match. We got Mansoor teaming up with Kurt Stallion, taking on Everrise, Chase Parker, and Matt Martell. Bollywoods were not there in the beginning, but they did show up. But the match was pretty much interesting to see Mansoor. Mansoor's undefeated. And seeing Kurt Stallion and Mansoor work together was great. But of course, Bollywood boys tried to help. It did not work. It did allow Mansoor and Kurt Stallion to win. Now, this next match was a feud. Once again, the feud between both 205 originals taking on the 205 newbies continues to grow. Tony Nese and Arya Devara are trying to make sure that the newbies know they're not going to take their spots, that they are disrupting 205 Live. So last week, August Gray was attacked by Arya Devara and Tony Nese interfered. This time, August Gray gets his revenge on Tony Nese, but this time he brought backup. This time he brought Jake Atlas. I don't think Nese and Daivari expected that, but it did. But August Gray was able to hold his own. Jake Atlas did help, and it did allow for August Gray to win, which was another upset for the 205 originals. So I doubt this feud's going to end, but it's still going to continue. So I think that's it for now. Let's move on to New Japan Strong. Alright, so we got the last day of the New Japan Strong tour, the New Beginning USA 2021, which it had an awesome main event for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship between Kenta and the Death Rider Jon Moxley. So we'll get to that. Now, the first match they started out was an 8-man tag team match. We have the Regal twins, Sterling and Logan, along with ACH and Brody King. The cool thing about this entrance, they all came out with the same ski mask that Brody King wears. I thought it was a pretty good look. And their opponents was TJP along with 3 young lions, Kevin Knight, the DKC, and of course the top young lion star, Clark Connors. Now, the best part of this whole match, ACH never took off his mask or his sweater, so he remained. Now, you probably ask yourselves, why would he do that? Come on. If you guys know ACH too well, you know he likes to throw in a little fun in there. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you guys ever seen ACH in the best of the Junior Tag League, he was having a little fun with Ryusuke Taguchi when they were teaming. Those were really, really fun moments of those teams. But it was fun. But I have to say, I did like the chemistry with Brody, the Regal Twins, and ACH. I feel they should form a faction for the New Japan Strong segment because it's pretty interesting to have. But however, it was still, they were able to overcome a veteran and 3 young lions. So that's what makes it very interesting. But as a learning curve in the post match, TJP asked him what was it that went wrong, and DKC said that he thought he had to kill, and he's telling him that he may have to cut his hair. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen DKC or even know him. I don't know how you guys would feel about that, but we'll see when that happens. The next match is Chris Dickinson versus young lion Ren Narita, who is on the verge of maybe graduating, being a young lion. Man, this match was so hard hitting. I didn't expect this whatsoever between Ren Narita. If you guys ever seen Ren Narita, he's always felt that he was the weakest link in the Young Lions in Japan. But ever since he asked Shibata to join the LA Dojo, that's exactly what he did. And you don't expect him, he has evolved even more ever since he went on excursion. Now, I don't know how long he's going to be in the US, but however, when he returns, I'm sure he will try to bring out a big impact. But we'll get to that. But the match was so huge, but also a big upset. Ren Narita pin Chris Dickinson. I'm like, what? You don't expect that in a million ways. Even Chris Dickinson never expected Ren Narita to hit him hard. He even asked New Japan to give him another chance against Ren Narita. And we'll see what happens. Because I have to say, it was a good match. Now, the main event was for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship between Kenta and Moxley. This match was months in the making. Ever since Kenta won the tournament for the United States Championship briefcase, he's been calling out Moxley, Moxley lurked from the shadows and sent a message, and then we see Kenta go straight AEW and telling him that he's going to beat him, and that's the whole point. And it was even the ref in this particular match decided, you know what, I'm not gonna stop it. I'm not gonna let them. I'm gonna let them do whatever they want to win, because the thing is, there has to be a winner. There cannot be any no DQs going on like this, because Kenta used his briefcase, he used tables, everything, but it was still not enough to to pin Moxley. But I think the best moment in this particular match is when Kenta got in his face, was on his knees, flipping Moxley and telling me "F you" and all that. I think that's like the motivation that Moxley was looking for to allow him to put him in the Death Rider, and that's how he won the match. But at the same time, Kenta was so close of winning that title and bringing it back to Japan, thinking he would be the first Japanese wrestler to win the United States title and bring it back to Bullet Club. But it did not go that well. He even was so close. So we are probably going to expect more things from John Moxley in the future in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I know AEW want to work with them. We're still yet to see, but we'll see what happens in the upcoming months in this whole thing with New Japan. But we'll keep an update on this one. So I think that's it right now. Let's go to Road to Castle Attack. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to review here is the New Japan Pro Wrestling's The Road to Castle Attack before we get to the actual one. It started out with Hiromu Takahashi giving the announcement that he got injured and he's going to be out for 6 months. And he made the decision to relinquish the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Now, you probably ask yourselves, why? Why did he have to? There's a certain rule within New Japan. For those who are new to the channel, New Japan says you have 6 months to defend the title. But that's around the same time where he's going to be out. It's going to be cutting close. But it wouldn't be fair for New Japan to hold to the title. This is not the first time this happened to Hiromu Takahashi, where he had to relinquish the title. What was it? In 2018, he was in a match against Dragon Lee. He broke his neck, and he was out for almost a year or so. And he came back stronger than ever, obtained the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title from Will Ospreay, and then later to lose it again to Taiji Shimori, that sort of thing. But however, Kevin Kelly made some interesting comments. Hiromu was scheduled to face El Fantasmo for the title, and it wouldn't surprise him if Fantasmo goes to the New Japan office and talk to the bosses saying that he automatically wins, hand him over the title. It doesn't work that way. But that I will bring back in regard to nearly the end of this, so you guys can understand what's happening. First match, we got the Empire, Cobb, Ospreay, and Khan taking on Yota Tsuji, who was it? Satoshi Kojima, and the Ace, and the never openweight champion Hiroshi Tanahashi. The match was like very the same old thing where you see the Empire, they have becoming a more formidable force. But however, it appears they got something in their minds. I'm just gonna skip ahead and tell you guys what was it that I'm referring to. Jeff Cobb won the match when he pinned Yota Tsuji, but however, the Empire seems more concerned for Tsuji's well-being. Reason is, this is a great way of the storyline how it's built up. Tsuji is a big fan of Tanahashi, so it appears that they want to recruit him, but they want him to see that he is not the Ace anymore. Even Khan tried to take him out, but he joked. He decided to get into his head. So it appears that the Empire wants to recruit Yota Tsuji, but there is no doubt by what Kevin Kelly said that we will see Yota Tsuji at Castle attack during that match for the Never Openweight title between the Ace and the Great Okan. Next match. This one went out quickly, less than 2 minutes, between Bullet Club members Dick Togo, Chase Owens, and Evil taking on Chaos members Sho, Toru Yano, and Kazuchika Okada. Now you ask me, why did it took short? Well, simple. It was Yano who actually won the match real quickly. But however, it did not go like that in a way. Chase Owens, who has a grudge against Toru Yano, saying that they're going to fight in a Texas strap match for the KOPW trophy. But appears the feud between Okada and Evil continues to grow. This became for real. Evil had no intentions from day one to face Okada, but now that he got his attention, it appears that he does. So that will take place in Castle Attack. I can't wait for it. Next match, we have another Bullet Club match between Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, Jay White, along with Gedo and Yado, taking on Chaos members. All three members of the the Never Open Weight 6-man tag team champions, Yoshihashi, Goto, and Ishii. Now the feud between Ishii and Jay White continues to grow, but of course, Yoshihashi and Goto are continuing to make a name for themselves, claiming they will be the ones to strip the GOD of the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles, which will take place as well at Castle Kingdom. So basically, it's like every last member of the 6-man Never Openweight champions want to face these guys, but however, Jay White is trying to antagonize Ishii by going through the crowd. He knows their rules, but Jay White is using that to his advantage. He did the same thing with various people to get it under his skin. Even after Chaos members won, Jay White continues to antagonize Ishii in every way, but it did not work in that way for him. They even tried to stop him. Now the next match, this is between LIJ members Shingo Takagi, Sanada, and Tetsuya Naito taking on Tomoaki Honma, Yuji Nagata, and Kota Ibushi. As you know, Naito is set to face Ibushi for the Intercontinental Champion. We were concerned over the fact that Naito was injured. From what I'm told, it turns out he injured his knee. Ibushi is still trying to recover from his arm injury. And to be honest with you, having Tomoaki Honma and Yuji Nagata facing on Sanada and Shingo kind of made it interesting. You look at the old school and the new school type of hard hitters who you probably would love to see, but it didn't go exactly that way. Basically, it was Shingo Takagi that put Honma in the last, in his famous finisher, ending it with a good win. But however, Naito decided to mock Kota Ibushi, saying that he's fine, that his knee is fine. So that's pretty much what happened. Now we get to the main event. This is for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Officially, it was supposed to be Bullet Club members Ishimori and El Fantasma taking on LIJ's Bushi and Hiromu. But however, since Hiromu is out, the former tag team champions, the previous, decided, not squander, decided to make their move. But the match was so good in this one because you can see how recently there has been talk saying that Kanemaru and Desperado have been now one of the considered has been the best tag team champions in this time. Not to mention they had a good run a couple years back, about a year or two ago, and now it appears that we're seeing that again. But however, Kanemaru did a little interesting move that as you know, there's been controversy over El Fantasmo's finisher, sudden death. Kanemaru decided to attack the left leg instead of the right leg. Now you ask why he would do that. Think about it. This is a very good psychology story. Basically, he knows that he cannot apply pressure while he does the kick. So it kind of takes it out. But however, he did use the sudden death on advantage when Kanemaru grabbed it and slammed it into Taiji Shimori to allow them to win. So we have now brand new IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions, Desperado and Kanemaru. But however, it did not end this in the post match. It appears Hiromu did stated that he wants Bushi to take his spot against El Fantasma, but it appears someone wants to get in the mix, and that person is El Desperado. Now, you probably would say this, why would he get involved? Think about it. If you guys did follow the best of the Super Juniors, El Desperado was one of the two favored to win the match. He would have been won an opportunity to get the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. So basically, that's what he did. And even though this is the last thing that El Fantasma and Bushi needs, I don't think Bushi cares. Basically, whatever. But Phantasmo, who believes that he earned the right for that title, he got taken out by Bushi. So I'm assuming we could see that either in Castle Attack or after. But we'll see what happens in Castle Attack. I will review both shows in a later time and pretty much will review everything. But stand by for another video where I will review another episode of All Japanese Wrestling. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.